Okay, welcome. This is my Kozmo Deck profile for the new November 2017 format. I run a 4-day card deck. It does not have an extra deck because Cosmos don't really need to extend into the extra deck. The deck does have a great amount of OTK potential, and in fact, I found it quite useful of busting through established fields on my opponent. So let's just get right into the deck profile. I'm going to start with the ships. The first ship is Kozmo Dark Destroyer. Dark Destroyer is currently on the limited list at 1, so you only run 1 in a deck. Primary reason why it's there is because it does open up a lot of OTKs for this deck in multiples. Whenever it's summoned, you pop a monster on the field. It has 3,000 attack points, and like the majority of the Kozmo ships, whenever it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish it from your graveyard and special summon a monster from your deck. Alright, because Kozmo Dark Destroyer is at 1, I run 1 copy of Dark Eclipser, primarily because it also has a 3,000 attack point body. It's one of the 2 Kozmo ships that actually search when you banish it from your graveyard after it's destroyed. Not going to really use it much for its effect. The effect is you banish a Kozmo monster from your graveyard to negate the activation of a trap. But if you ever do need to use the effect, it does pair well with with Tin Can, so that's why it's here. I run 1 copy of Kozmo Forerunner during each standby phase. While it's face up, you gain 1,000 life points, and that's very important considering that the pilots and the field spell both need life points in order to activate effects. Alright, one thing about the big ships here is they cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, but you can target them with your own. So keep that in mind while you're playing. Alright, next 2 cards are the targetable ships. I run 2 copies of Landwalker. Landwalker can actually move targets from one Kozmo card to a different Kozmo card in case they were being destroyed. Typically you don't want to bring those targets onto Landwalker or Slip Rider. And speaking of Slip Rider, I run 3 of Slip Riders. Basically, whenever it's summoned, you pop a spell or trap. Very good with destruction there, especially if you're going to chain it to something like a continuous spell. For the pilots, I run 1 copy of Sword Troopers. Sword Troopers also pairs well with Tin Can because when you pay 1,000 life points for this card's effect, you actually get a second type monster pilot back from the graveyard. Alright, if you're not comfortable at running Sword Troopers, the other level 3 I would suggest you run would be Kozmo Farm Girl. Okay. You have Strawman here. Strawman, you pay 500 life points, you get a monster back from your banish zone, but its effects are negated, and it's destroyed at the end of the turn. Typically, you don't want to be bringing back your ships for this, so you can get more monster pilots out of your deck. Alright, speaking of Tin Can, I run 3 copies of Tin Can. Tin Can at 3 is a must in Kozmo decks. This is your engine. It helps fill your grave. And it also can help fill your grave in your deck and hopefully get a card you need into your hand. Typically, you pay 500 life points during your end phase. Select 3 Kozmo cards with different names, and that includes monster spells and traps. Show them to your opponent. Your opponent chooses 1 at random. That's kind of key. A lot of people don't pick up on that. The random card your opponent selects, add it to your hands. The other 2 cards go to your graveyard. Okay. You saw a Sword Trooper. That's the reason why we have Sword Trooper in the deck. I run 2 copies here of Kozmo Dark Lady. Dark Lady is basically a walking solemn strike. For that, you pay basically you pay 1,000 life points to get her effect, which is actually kind of cheaper than Strike. But Strike is also a counter trap, so it's spell speed 3. So Strike will probably turn around and negate this. But if your opponent's not running traps like a lot of players are, you can probably get away with it. Alright, and then I run 1 copy of Wicked Witch. Wicked Witch is actually the strongest level 4 monster of all the Cosmos. And what you want to do is you want to bring her out off of a ship's summoning effect get her in defense mode, and then if your opponent attacks her, pay 1,000 life points, and she becomes indestructible from attacks or card effects. Very useful card. Alright, put that down over here. Onto the spells. The deck does have a lot of speed to it, and primary reason is because I run 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness, basically you draw 2 cards, you banish a Dark Attribute monster. Cosmos don't mind if monsters are banished because we have the field spell. Okay. Put that up. Also for speed, you have 3 copies of Card of Demise. Demise is actually pretty awesome. It's great in low hand situations. The special summoning, the no special summoning the turn you use it doesn't really hurt the deck because you special summoning more on your opponent's turn than anything else. And even if you still have cards in the hand at the end of your turn, and then, yeah, that feeds into this deck's overall strategy. So it's actually a very good card. I run a single copy of Darkhold. The ships don't mind about being destroyed. Hopefully we get another Darkhold back on the next list, because this game desperately needs its board wipes. I run the 1 copy of Emergency Teleport. Basically this allows you to get a level 3 or lower second type pilot from your deck onto the field so you can get things going. The typical card you could be summoning with this card effect is going to be Tin Can. So, and of course we have Kozmo Town. Kozmo Town's at 3. You want to see it often. I mentioned before that it does use life points to get monsters back from your banish zone back into your hand. But you could also turn around and use this to send unneeded Cosmo monsters back into your deck and draw cards. And whenever it's popped, you also turn around and get to search another Kozmo card. So that has 3 very good effects here. Alright. And for more search power, I added in 2 copies of Duality. Duality allows you to dig into your deck, 3 cards, pick the card you need for the situation, and then shuffle your deck. Again, the no special summoning the turn you use this card doesn't really hurt this deck. You're special summoning more on your opponent's turn. And of course, you want to open up with Kozmo Town as well. So that's why I have 2 terraforming. You can run other cards in this deck, but I actually prefer terraforming in this deck. It actually does work insanely well to get the field spell out, so you can get going. This deck is all about consistency and speed. All right. Finally, we have our traps. And these are my this is primary source of recursion. And I run 3 copies of Back to the Front. Back to the Front takes a monster from the graveyard, special summons it to your field in defense mode. It doesn't touch their typing, it doesn't touch their attributes, and it doesn't attach itself to the cards. So it's truly chainable if your opponent tries to pop any of your back row. And because of it, it forces your opponent to use another effect or have to attack the monster. So, very good card. Of course, I also run 3 copies of Call of the Haunted. So chaining this to its to something that targets it, not a bad idea, especially if you're bringing back a ship, because then the ship's destroyed as well, and since it counts as being destroyed, you can banish it to get a monster on the field. So, overall strategy, good card to have. And the last 2 trap cards I run are Cosmosia. Basically, you pop a Cosmo monster on your field and banish something from your opponent's side of the field or their graveyard. Can't tell you how good this card is. I've actually used it a few times and made a few other players just cry because I got rid of their ace monsters. Alright. As for that, that's the whole deck. For my channel, I hope to do a lot more deck profiles. Besides profiles, I'm definitely gonna be doing product openings for core booster sets, The side sets that I like, I'll probably be doing openings on. I'll also do videos discussing things about the games that I feel that are good, things that are bad, things that might need to be changed. Alright, so look forward to seeing comments. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you love the video, subscribe. Alright, I will be hopefully seeing you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.